Hey everyone, welcome back to A-Level Lessons Online. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Alright, we're back with our general paper finally, and we're going to be finishing up our entire series on your first part, which is going to be your essay writing. So we're going to end it off here with how to write a good conclusion. I've already gone through how to write good body paragraphs, how to write a solid introduction, how to evaluate in general paper. Those I've already gone through. You can go and check it out. It's all in my general paper playlist. I will leave a link in the description below. This part is going to be just covering on how you should write your conclusion. Okay, a lot of times people are like, a lot of students, they are like, oh, how do I actually conclude my essay? How do I make it end on a nice note? So in this video, I hope that I will give you some ways that you could possibly use and adopt if you want to, in order to help you with finishing up that essay very, very nicely for your marker. So the first thing that we need to get across first is that what is a conclusion? Okay, what actually is a conclusion? So a conclusion that a lot of you guys will know about is one that is actually a short little mini paragraph. It's kind of like a short few sentences that actually aims to provide a well-rounded end to your essay. So it should mark the end of your essay, and it's there to ensure that everything comes to a very nice, well-rounded closure. So there are a few ways that some of you guys would start a conclusion, right? Some of you guys may go ahead with in conclusion, then comma, ... or either that all, in a nutshell, in sum, in summary. Some of you guys may also end off a conclusion with a quote. Okay, it really depends. There are a dozen different ways to end your conclusion. If you are still unsure on how you should be ending it, go ahead and just use these few phrases that I provided here, because I think these are the most straightforward and the easiest to use. So you just go in conclusion, and then after that you can carry on with the rest. So I'll go through the components that you need to include, or you should try and include in your conclusion when it comes to your essay writing, because these will help you to ensure that your entire essay is like what it says over here, comes to a very nice, well-rounded closure. So the first thing first is going to be a simple reiteration of your points. So just reiterating your points, just restating them. So you're not going to be explaining them. Next one will be a proper justification of your stand. So what was your stand from the start when you wrote it in your intro? And lastly is a call to action or a resolution to your essay. So this one we will go through all in details. So firstly, the reiteration of your main points. Alright, I know it's a lot of words here. Okay, I'll highlight what's important. So the reiteration of points is very simply to just state your points in brief, right? We're not going to go into an explanation, a full-on explanation on what the point is. This point is very, very simply from your body paragraph. Remember that first line that we wrote, the PEL structure, right? So the first line, your point is simply just going to be restated over here, but possibly even in simpler terms, or just a few snippets of it will do. We'll look at an example later on, right? So you do not want to ramble on about the points that you already explained earlier in your body paragraphs. So take this as an opportunity to make it clear to the marker what your points were and how they were segregated. So for instance, there were a few points which are talking about the plus side to the argument, and then the rest of the points that are talking about the minus. You can actually use a conclusion as an avenue to seamlessly connect them all together, right? We'll see how later. And then after that, you can take 1 to 2 lines to just restate your points. Remember, you're not explaining them, you are just stating. So just state it there, you don't have to jump into any details. So an example over here that I have is of a conclusion that shows the points that I had. So all in all, awards and prizes continue to serve a very useful purpose in today's society by providing many with an opportunity to be recognized for their commendable efforts, as well as serve as okay, this seems a bit wrong, but as well as serve as providing a boost of confidence in empowering people and building strong characters. So this could be one side of the point that I'm trying to say, and then after which I'll say, however, it has also come with its limitations, or it has come with its drawbacks of having certain features. So this would be how I would state my points. You notice over here I'm not explaining anything. I'm just stating my 2 points, which my first one that I wrote in the essay was the opportunity for people to be recognized for their efforts, and the second one was providing a boost in confidence in empowering people and building strong characters. This could very well be my third point as well. So these are essentially how I'm going to be restating my points. I never jumped into any explanation, I just stated them very, very simply and succinctly. Alright, next one is to justify your stand. So how do we justify a stand? It's very simple. So in order for you to justify the stand, there has to be an underlying reason or a criteria that comes paired with it. Okay, whenever you want to justify something, there has to be a reason why this is justified. Okay, you cannot just say that, shopping for clothes is justified. Why? So why is it justified? So in this case, certain ways you can look at how to justify your stand is to look at the benefits and drawbacks. Usually, if the benefits outweigh the drawbacks, that means that that issue is going to be justifiable should it be, let's say, feasible in society. And so let's say another case would be, let's say if this issue is inherent in society, then yes, it could very well be a justified stand as well. So use your conclusion as an opportunity to bring across why your stand is justified. So there are a few reasons as to why something can be justified. So one of it will be when your benefits outweigh the drawbacks. So let's say there are significant benefits as compared to the limitations. So definitely this, for example, let's say this certain technology would be more justified because of the amount of benefits that it can bring as compared to its limitations. Another would be your feasibility. If let's say this issue at hand is feasible, let's say it's the crafting of a policy. If it's a feasible policy and it makes sense and it can help a lot of people, for instance, definitely it is also going to be justified. That is in the case of your stand, right? You remember, you're always justifying your stand. Next one will be long-term implications. So let's say something is not justifiable. It's because in the long run, let's say this certain good or service is unsustainable, right? And it's going to cause a lot of harm to society, a lot of harm to the environment. Then likelihood is that this stand is going to be unjustifiable. Alright, last one could be root cause. Okay, this one is a bit more of a high level one. Some of you guys may love to use this actually. It's because it's so much easier. So let's say if you're looking at a question whereby it's, let's say, a policy question, or be it a technology question, a moral and ethics question. If let's say the root cause of the issue is not even being addressed, right, by, let's say, the question, then likelihood is that your stand is not going to be justifiable, right? So let's say I give an example. Let's say the policy, let's say you are looking at how to boost growth in the long run for an economy, right? But the issue is that the root cause of this reason why there is this low growth rate is because the workers aren't trained. But if your stand is that, it's something that is just completely irrelevant. Let's say we're going to invest in more capital in the country. It's not going to be effective in actually helping to boost your growth in the long run, right? Because the root cause of the issue for this poor growth is because the workers aren't even trained to begin with. So you need to actually implement policies which tackle these workers instead. So depending on what your stand is, then you would notice that hence this is a justified stand, or it could be unjustified. And so that is where you will need to assess it. So one example I have over here is, however, it can be, this is the same question actually as the awards and prizes one. So however, it can be impractical in some contexts, such as in the area of adulthood, as well as may act as a double-edged sword when abused or overemphasized. So over here I'm saying that, well, while my stand is yes, it is indeed justified. Okay, in my conclusion, what I'm going to write is that it can be impractical, or it cannot be feasible in certain areas. For example, in the area of adulthood, in the area of childhood. Okay, these are areas whereby possibly this specific issue, alright, may actually not be the underlying reason, okay, or it may not even be feasible to begin with. Hence, this is an area that we should be looking out for, whereby my stand could possibly not cover at the start. Alright, so just to sum it all up, okay, in case you're still a bit confused, when I'm talking about the justification of your stand, what I'm referring to is that at the start of your entire essay, you wrote a stand saying that you agree with the question to a large or a small extent. So at the end of the essay, after you've written all your body paragraphs, you should come to a nice conclusion again to state once again what your stand is. Okay, that yes, I do agree to this issue to a large extent, but now what you should do is you should also throw in a certain evaluation portion over here to say that yes, while I agree to a large extent, we should acknowledge that this issue may not be feasible in certain areas. It may have certain long-term implications. It may not be addressing the root cause of this actual societal issue. Hence, this is an area which we should still acknowledge, or we should still ensure is being tackled in the long run. Something like this would just make it much more of a higher level already. Alright, so this for this part. If you have any questions on this part, you can just leave it in the comment section. I will answer you. Alright. The last part is to have a call to action or a resolution. So this is a nice way to end off your essay, where especially when you have a strong resolution, okay, meaning that you come to a nice closure, right? So the various ways to end, okay, could be through a call to action, long-term effects in its outlook, or linking the issue of the question to society today. Right? A lot of times the question, it's a very open question. It allows you to explore various aspects of society today. So what you can do is that at the end of the essay, as you're concluding, you can always go ahead and bring it back to today's society, right? Is this question, the issue that is in this question, is it still relevant in today's society? If it is not, why so? If it is still relevant, why? So for example, if the question is on, let's say if let's say the question is on having historical sites in a country, so is it actually applicable today in the technologically driven world that we have today, or can a lot of these historical artifacts be moved online, right? So you can just simply state that while this issue of historical buildings could certainly still be applicable in today's society, with the advance in technology or the advances in technology, it is likely that these historical sites could increasingly get phased out of society, something like this. Okay, a call to action is basically when you're calling people to act on the issue. So moving forward, all Singaporeans should ensure that their children receive at least 10 years of education, something like this. That could be a call to action. And a long-term effect or outlook, okay, refers to when you are looking in the long run, is this issue even still going to make sense? Right, the question that they ask you, right, is this issue still going to exist? Right, let's say if you're looking in the long term and the question is something about robots, okay, AI, artificial intelligence. In the long run, is this actually going to be an issue? Possibly yes, right, because of how fast we're advancing in this technological field. Okay, as a result, AI may very well replace a lot of certain jobs, okay, or jobs that in the sunset industries, right? So as a result, that is what we can look at in terms of your long-term effects. It is something that we can point out at the end of the essay to say that in the long run, with advances in technology, chances are artificial intelligence is going to replace a lot more jobs. Hence, it is crucial, right? Always remember to have a nice evaluation added. Hence, it is crucial that we plan for the future, that we have good foresight to plan the proper policies and strategies in place to ensure that any possible limitations, any possible drawbacks that artificial intelligence can bring is well mitigated. And that would help you to sum it up very nicely, because you don't want to leave it hanging by saying that, oh yeah, it's going to be an issue in the long run. That's all. Then the marker will be like, oh, okay, then this question, how are we going to actually address it? So always address the question. Okay, yeah, you can always say that yes, it will be an issue in the long run, but always give us some closure. So say that, oh, well, yeah, it may be an issue. If we put in the proper policies, it won't be as big an issue. It can be properly mitigated. These kind of things would do, and it would show the marker that you're already thinking on a much higher level. So like I have over here the example, right? Moving forward, there is a need to stigmatize awards as an added bonus for an achievement, while the lessons learned from going through the process should remain as the primary focus. So this is a bit of a call to action and a long-term outlook, okay, a long-run outlook, whereby looking in the long run, in terms of my moving forward, okay, that's what captures the long-run essence. And then the call to action is that we should stigmatize awards as something that is more of just a bonus instead of being something that is the end goal. Alright, so this is how you can always end it off. So this was what the whole conclusion was like. Okay, when you piece it all together, this is what a sample conclusion will look like. So all in all, awards and prizes continue to serve a very useful purpose in today's society by providing many with an opportunity to be recognized for their commendable efforts. So I've already stated my stand in the first line, right? So in the first line, when I said a very useful purpose, this was my original stand. And after that, I go on to talk about how there are the various different factors. I didn't include my counter arguments here, but you can go ahead and include it. Alright. Actually I did. Yeah, so over here. So however, it can be impractical. So this part on impractical in some contexts, such as in the area of adulthood. So this could be a counter argument, right? But this part on impractical could very well be the justification as well. So it's kind of like an evaluation. So you can always mix it all together. You don't have to follow step by step. Certain pieces going first and then followed by other pieces, right? Everything when you write it together should just flow very, very nicely. right? And as well as a double-edged sword when abused or overemphasized. So moving forward, we need to stigmatize awards and then have the process of learning be our primary center focus instead. So that would be how you would roughly craft a evaluation. Likewise, this is really subjective and it's up to you how you want to tweak it. You may always include a lot of different other things in your conclusion. It shouldn't be too long, don't forget that. But this, like I said, is subjective, and in my opinion, these are the three main ways that I feel are the most effective in ensuring that your conclusion is all-rounded and it has captured the entire essay in sum and has brought a very nice closure to your essay. So if you have other ways of doing it, go ahead and write those other ways. Okay, you don't have to follow this format strictly, but these are just three various ways in which you could possibly want to adopt when it comes to writing your conclusion, so that you ensure that your entire essay is very nicely summed up. Okay, so if not, that is all I have for this video. I will be moving on to paper 2 very soon with all your different question types, how to answer the different question types and more. So go ahead and stay tuned for those, right? If you did learn something from this video or you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as to subscribe to the channel. It's free, it doesn't cost anything, and you can always change your mind later if you want. If not, that is all I have for this part on your journal paper on your conclusion, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye bye.